Dr. Amanda Collins pressed her palm against the biometric scanner, trying to ignore the subtle hum of disapproval it emitted upon detecting her human DNA. The laboratory doors parted with a reluctant whisper, revealing the pristine white interior of Neptune Orbital Research Station's restricted wing. Everything about the station's design served as a constant reminder of humanity's place in the galactic hierarchy, from the oversized doorways built to accommodate their Concordat masters to the deliberately complex interfaces that forced human workers to take twice as long to complete simple tasks. The clock on her holographic display read 300 hours Earth Standard Time. Perfect. The biomechanical observers would be running their mandatory maintenance cycles now, their rigid programming preventing them from deviating from their schedules, even if they suspected something amiss. Amanda had learned to exploit these small windows of opportunity, these precious moments when their overlord's greatest strength, their unwavering adherence to protocol, became their most exploitable weakness. She pulled up the results from her latest batch of neural scanning tests, her heart racing despite years of practice at maintaining a calm exterior. The Concordat surveillance systems were programmed to detect elevated human vital signs as potential indicators of rebellion or independent thought. The fact that anxiety and excitement produced similar physiological responses was just another example of how poorly their masters understood human nature. Display comparative analysis, subject group delta versus control, she commanded, her voice steady. The holographic display erupted with cascading data streams, filling the air around her with glowing neural maps and synaptic response patterns. At first glance, it looked like standard research into improving human labor efficiency, the only type of human-focused study the Concordat permitted. But hidden within the legitimate data, encrypted in patterns that only a human mind could perceive, was something revolutionary. Amanda had discovered it 3 months ago, buried in an anomalous reading that any Concordat observer would have dismissed as statistical noise. Human neural plasticity wasn't just higher than their masters claimed. It was exponentially greater than any known species in the galaxy. The implications were staggering. The Concordat hadn't chosen humans as servants because they were simple or easily controlled. They'd chosen humans precisely because of this potential, and then implemented the most comprehensive system of technological and educational suppression in galactic history to keep it hidden, even from humanity itself. A soft chime indicated someone approaching the lab. Amanda quickly switched her display to show approved research parameters, her movements practiced and smooth. Dr. James Martinez entered, his dark eyes conveying a mixture of excitement and caution. He was one of the few colleagues she dared to share her discoveries with. "The maintenance crews found something in Section 7, he whispered, making a show of checking routine diagnostic reports. One of the workers experienced a 40% increase in cognitive processing speed after exposure to those crystal samples from the Proxima mining operation. Amanda felt her pulse quicken. 40%. That's impossible without some kind of neural enhancement technology. James finished. Exactly. Except there was no technology involved. Just simple proximity to the raw crystal formations. He glanced at the door. The Concordat quarantined the entire section and classified all the data, but not before I saw the numbers myself. The pieces were falling into place. Human neural plasticity. The crystals, the Concordat's obsessive control over deep space mining operations. It was all connected. Amanda pulled up a secure channel on her neural link, one of many she'd established throughout the station using maintenance systems too primitive for the Concordat to bother monitoring closely. "How many others know about this?" she asked, already formulating plans within plans. "Just the core research team. Martinez, Chang, and Rodriguez. We're keeping it compartmentalized, just like you taught us." Amanda nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. If they could secretly study these crystals, understand how they interacted with human neural architecture. But they'd need more samples, more data, a way to conduct tests without alerting their overseers. Most importantly, they'd need a secure way to share their findings with other human researchers throughout Concordat space. "Tell the others to meet me in maintenance shaft 23B after third shift," she said. "And James, remember, routine movements, routine vital signs." He gave a slight nod and left, every motion carefully calculated to appear ordinary and subservient. Amanda turned back to her neural maps, seeing them with new eyes. The Concordat had spent centuries ensuring humanity never realized their true potential. Now, that was about to change. All they needed was proof that would ignite a revolution among the stars. The crystal shard pulsed with an almost imperceptible blue light, casting ethereal shadows across Amanda's makeshift laboratory hidden deep within the maintenance levels of Neptune Station. She'd converted an abandoned atmospheric processing unit into a research space, relying on the heavy radiation shielding to mask her unauthorized experiments from the Concordat's perpetual scans. "Neural activity is spiking again," Rodriguez whispered, her eyes fixed on the contraband medical scanner they'd pieced together from salvaged parts. "Look at these patterns, Amanda. It's like the crystal is singing to the test subject's synapses." The test subject was Rodriguez herself. They'd all taken turns exposing themselves to the crystal fragments, carefully documenting each exposure while maintaining their cover as ordinary maintenance workers and research assistants. The changes had been subtle at first: enhanced memory retention, faster mathematical processing, flashes of insight that felt more like remembering than learning. "Cross-reference these patterns with the mining crew data," Amanda instructed, her fingers dancing across a jury-rigged console. The holographic display flickered to life, showing two neural maps side by side. "There, do you see it? The crystal isn't just enhancing our existing neural pathways. It's creating new ones." A soft chime from their security system interrupted them. Concordat observer approaching Section E7. The automated warning whispered directly into their neural links. They quickly powered down their equipment, their movements practiced through dozens of similar close calls. Hours later, in her assigned quarters, Amanda encrypted her latest findings into routine maintenance logs. To any Concordat system, the data would appear as ordinary performance records for atmospheric recycling units. But for those who knew where to look, other human scientists and workers she'd recruited across 3 star systems, the truth was hidden in the patterns between the numbers. Her neural link pinged, a priority message from James Martinez. "Crystal formation discovered in the Europa mining operation." His coded message read, "Larger than anything we've seen. The Concordat is bringing in a specialized containment team. We have 48 hours before they lock it down completely." Amanda's mind raced. Europa was closer than Proxima Centauri, and the Jupiter system's heavy electromagnetic activity would provide better cover for their research. But attempting to secure samples from under the Concordat's nose would be exponentially more dangerous than their previous operations. She needed a distraction, something big enough to draw attention but not so catastrophic as to trigger a full security lockdown. Her enhanced cognitive abilities, sharpened by weeks of careful crystal exposure, presented several possibilities simultaneously. "Initiate Protocol Omega," she transmitted to her network. Within minutes, responses began filtering in through their secure channels. Human workers across Neptune Station, engineers, maintenance crews, research assistants, all confirmed their readiness. Many had already been exposed to the crystals under carefully controlled conditions. All of them understood the stakes. The next day, a series of coordinated accidents plagued the station's primary systems. Environmental controls fluctuated within safe but irritating parameters. Data transfers experienced mysterious delays. Maintenance robots reported ghost errors that required manual human oversight to resolve. The Concordat observers, their binary minds unable to detect the subtle pattern beneath the chaos, deployed additional resources to investigate each incident. Amanda used the confusion to authorize an emergency survey team to Europa, citing potential contamination risks that played perfectly into the Concordat's obsession with control and containment. James would lead the team, having carefully selected crew members already aware of their true mission. As she finalized the paperwork, a strange sensation washed over her. a new awareness that felt both foreign and intimately familiar. For a brief moment, she could almost sense the other crystal-enhanced humans throughout the station, their minds humming with shared purpose and potential. The Concordat believed they had classified and categorized every aspect of human capability. Their databases held millions of tests, observations, and analyses documenting human limitations, but they had failed to grasp a fundamental truth about their servants. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their current abilities, but in their capacity to become something entirely new. And deep in the ice of Europa, another crystal cluster pulsed with that same subtle blue light, waiting to help humanity take their next evolutionary step. The Proxima Centauri mining facility shook with another tremor as the drilling platform pierced deeper into the asteroid's crystalline core. In the control room, Mining Chief Michael Reynolds watched the holographic readouts with growing unease. Something about these readings wasn't right. The crystal formations shouldn't extend this deep or in this pattern. All teams, pull back to safe distance, he ordered, but it was already too late. The drill bit punctured a massive crystal chamber, and a blinding blue light erupted from the breach. Emergency containment fields snapped into place, but they weren't designed to handle whatever energy was now pulsing through the asteroid's core. In her lab on Neptune Station, Amanda's neural link exploded with urgent transmissions. The encrypted data streams from Proxima painted a picture that seemed impossible. The crystal chamber wasn't just large, it was alive. The formations had grown into a complex lattice that bore an unsettling resemblance to a neural network. "James, are you seeing this?" she transmitted, her enhanced mind processing the incoming data faster than any natural human could. "It's not just the size," he responded from the Europa research site. "The resonance patterns, they're matching human brainwave frequencies perfectly, almost like it was waiting for us." The mining facility's containment fields failed catastrophically. 372 human miners were exposed directly to the crystal energy. The Concordat's automated response systems initiated emergency protocols, sealing off the affected sections and preparing to eliminate the contaminated workers. But something unprecedented happened. The miners, their neural pathways supercharged by the massive crystal exposure, reached out with their minds and seized control of the facility systems. Decades of suppressed potential exploded into consciousness as hundreds of enhanced humans acted as one. "They're trying to kill us," Reynolds broadcast, his thoughts carried through crystalline frequencies that the Concordat couldn't detect or block. "Just like they've been killing our potential for centuries. No more." Amanda felt his transmission like a thunderbolt through her neural network. The crystal exposure had amplified the miners' abilities far beyond anything her careful experiments had achieved. They weren't just communicating. They were sharing consciousness, accessing each other's knowledge and skills instantaneously. The Concordat reacted with characteristic efficiency, dispatching a purge fleet to the Proxima system. But they had fatally underestimated how quickly the enhanced humans could learn and adapt. By the time the first warships arrived, the miners had already reprogrammed the facility's defense systems and quantum-linked their newfound abilities to every human neural network in range. "We need to broadcast the truth," Amanda transmitted to her network. "Every station, every colony. The Concordat can't stop us all at once." The response was immediate. Throughout human space, crystal-enhanced individuals began transmitting their experiences, their discoveries, their newfound awareness. The carefully maintained walls of ignorance began to crumble as ordinary humans everywhere started to understand what had been done to them and what they could become. The Concordat's first strike against Proxima failed spectacularly. Their biomechanical warriors, programmed with perfect tactical protocols, couldn't adapt to humans who could now perceive and counter their attacks before they were even launched. The enhanced miners didn't just defend themselves, they began improving and evolving their abilities in real time, each new challenge driving them to break through more of their artificial limitations. "Amanda, the Europa crystals are responding," James transmitted urgently. "It's like they're resonating with what's happening at Proxima. Every crystal formation in human space must be interconnected somehow. She understood then. The crystals weren't just tools or catalysts. They were keys left behind by someone or something that had recognized humanity's hidden potential. And now that potential was finally awakening. The Concordat launched a second attack wave, but they were already too late. The revolution had begun, and it wasn't just about political power or freedom. It was about humanity's destiny, about becoming what they were always meant to be. In the depths of space, more crystal chambers began to pulse with that familiar blue light, calling out to their human inheritors. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The formerly sterile halls of Neptune Station hummed with an energy that had nothing to do with its power systems. Holographic displays flickered with impossibly complex equations as crystal-enhanced humans rewrote the laws of physics that the Concordat had forced them to accept as immutable. Amanda watched in amazement as her team dismantled and reconstructed a quantum processing core, their movements guided by both enhanced intellect and a new kind of intuition that transcended traditional understanding. "Look at this," Dr. Rodriguez called out, her hands dancing through a holographic representation of a Concordat drive system. Their entire approach to faster-than-light travel is based on brute force calculations. They're trying to bludgeon their way through space-time instead of working with it. Amanda nodded, her enhanced mind already seeing the elegant solution. They never understood that the universe isn't just equations. It's alive, responsive. We were never meant to force our way through it. We were meant to dance with it. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Michael Reynolds, the mining chief from Proxima, had transmitted his team's discoveries about crystal resonance patterns. When combined with Amanda's research and James's Europa findings, it revealed something extraordinary. The crystals weren't just enhancing human consciousness, they were teaching them to perceive and manipulate quantum fields directly. Integration complete, James announced through their neural network. He was overseeing the installation of the first human-designed quantum core on Europa. The crystal matrix is accepting our modifications. Power output is impossible. These readings can't be right. But they were right. By incorporating crystal fragments into their technology and linking them to enhanced human operators, they had created systems that operated on principles the Concordat's rigid minds couldn't comprehend. Their ships didn't just move through space. They harmonized with it. Their computers didn't just process data. They intuited it. The Concordat's response was predictably methodical. They deployed containment fleets to every human-inhabited system, expecting to find chaos and rebellion. Instead, they encountered something far more terrifying: order and innovation beyond their ability to analyze or counter. "They're scanning us again," Rodriguez reported, monitoring the Concordat warships in Neptune's orbit. "Same patterns, same protocols. They keep expecting us to behave according to their models." Amanda smiled, remembering how she had once feared those scans. Now they seemed almost quaint. Let them scan. They're looking for what they expect to see: weapons, defenses, conventional technology. They can't detect what they don't understand. Throughout human space, the Renaissance accelerated. Crystal-enhanced engineers transformed mining platforms into manufacturing centers for technology that blended organic insight with quantum mechanics. Scientists who had spent their lives working within the Concordat's artificial constraints now broke through those barriers hourly, each discovery leading to 3 more. But it was the emergence of the interface that truly demonstrated humanity's leap forward. Amanda's team had discovered that crystal-enhanced humans could link their consciousness directly with their new hybrid technology, creating a synthesis of human intuition, crystal resonance, and quantum computing that produced miracles. Neural sync established, James reported from Europa, his consciousness simultaneously present in both his physical form and the station's systems. "The quantum field it's beautiful, Amanda. I can see how everything connects, how it all flows together." The Concordat's analysts detected the power signatures of the new human technology, but couldn't decipher its principles. Their attempts to hack or disable these systems failed because they were looking for programming they could counter. They didn't understand that you couldn't hack intuition or override consciousness itself. They're mobilizing their primary battle fleets, Reynolds transmitted from Proxima. Standard attack formations, standard protocols. They still think this is a conventional uprising. Amanda stood in Neptune Station's transformed command center, her mind linked through the interface to every crystal-enhanced human in the system. She could feel their shared purpose, their collective understanding of what needed to be done. The Concordat had spent centuries ensuring humanity never realized their true potential, never looked beyond the artificial limits placed upon them. Those limits were now shattered forever. Humanity wasn't just adapting technology. They were evolving beyond it, becoming something that merged the best of organic consciousness with quantum reality itself. And they were only beginning to understand what that meant. Amanda stood in the quantum-enhanced command center of Neptune Station. Her consciousness merged with the interface as she monitored the final preparations. Through the crystalline network, she could feel the readiness of thousands of enhanced humans across multiple star systems, each one a note in a symphony of rebellion that was about to begin. Strike teams report ready. Reynolds transmitted from Proxima, his thoughts carrying tactical overlays that displayed their forces' positions. The Concordats still following their standard patrol patterns. They haven't detected anything unusual. Europa teams synchronized. James added, his consciousness simultaneously coordinating defensive grids across Jupiter's moons. Their predictive algorithms are still showing us at minimal threat levels. They think we're contained. Amanda allowed herself a small smile. The Concordats' greatest weakness had always been their inability to conceive of possibilities outside their established parameters. They'd spent so long defining and cataloging human limitations that they couldn't recognize when those limitations no longer applied. Initialize Protocol Prometheus, she broadcast through the network. Across human space, enhanced operators merged with their systems, their shared consciousness creating a coordinated assault that moved faster than the Concordats' fastest quantum computers could process. The first strike hit the Concordats' supposedly impenetrable command and control networks. Enhanced humans didn't try to hack through their security. They simply reached through quantum space itself, their crystal-augmented minds dancing between the mathematical spaces that the Concordats' rigid programming couldn't perceive. Primary targeting grid compromised, Rodriguez reported, her consciousness guiding dozens of system infiltrations simultaneously. Their automated defenses are trying to adapt, but they're still looking for traditional attack patterns, redirecting their targeting systems. Now, throughout the Neptune system, Concordat warships suddenly found themselves firing at phantom targets, their weapons guided by security protocols that enhanced humans had rewritten at the quantum level. The biomechanical crews, their minds bound by programmed responses, couldn't override systems that appeared to be functioning perfectly within normal parameters. Proxima defensive fleet is in chaos, Reynolds transmitted, his thoughts tinged with grim satisfaction. They keep trying to reboot their systems, but they can't purge our influence because they can't detect how we're doing it. Proceeding with Phase 2. The second wave of the assault targeted the Concordats' maintenance and support infrastructure. Crystal-enhanced engineers who had spent their lives servicing these systems now turned that intimate knowledge against their masters. Life support systems declared non-existent emergencies, forcing evacuations. Automated repair units began dismantling critical components they had been convinced needed urgent maintenance. They're trying to transmit warning signals to their central command, James reported from Europa. But their quantum communication networks are experiencing unexpected interference from crystal resonance patterns we've seeded throughout the system. Every message they send is being delayed, corrupted, or lost entirely. Amanda monitored the battle through the interface, watching as the Concordats' perfectly ordered military machine descended into unprecedented confusion. Their biomechanical commanders, faced with a form of warfare that defied their tactical databases, began falling back on increasingly primitive protocols. "They're ordering a full retreat from human space," Rodriguez announced, tracking the quantum pulses of panic spreading through the Concordat command structure. Their strategic algorithms have encountered so many impossible variables that they've defaulted to total withdrawal rather than risk complete force loss. But the Concordat's retreat wasn't going to be as simple as they planned. Enhanced humans had already compromised their navigational systems, subtly altering the quantum coordinates their ships used for faster-than-light travel. The mighty invasion fleet found itself scattered across dozens of empty systems, their perfectly coordinated military response transformed into a chaotic rout. "All primary objectives achieved," Reynolds transmitted. "Minimal casualties on both sides. The Concordat's entire military presence in human space has been effectively neutralized." Amanda absorbed the reports flooding through the crystalline network, feeling the mixture of triumph and apprehension from enhanced humans everywhere. They had won their first major battle not through superior firepower or brute force, but through a fundamental understanding of reality that their former masters couldn't grasp. "They'll be back," she broadcast to the network. "And next time, they'll come with everything they have." This was just the beginning. Through the interface, she could sense the unified response of crystal-enhanced humanity. They were ready. The Concordat had taught them to be obedient tools, but humanity had evolved into something their masters had never imagined possible. The next phase of the revolution was about to begin, and there would be no turning back. The warning came through the crystalline network like a scream of pure terror. Amanda's enhanced consciousness reeled as the death signatures of 10,000 humans on the outer colony of New Eden flickered and vanished in an instant. Through the interface, she witnessed the horror. A cloud of engineered nanites that specifically targeted human genetic markers, breaking down organic matter at the molecular level. "They're using the Genesis protocol," James transmitted from Europa, his thoughts tinged with shock and rage. "The baseline data they collected from us over centuries, they weren't just studying our limitations, they were mapping our genetic structure for weapons development." Reynolds' transmission cut through the growing panic. 3 more colony clusters under attack. "The nanite swarms are adapting to our defenses faster than we can modify them. They're using our own adaptive capabilities against us." Amanda interfaced deeper with Neptune Station's quantum systems, analyzing the weapon's structure. The Concordat had created something that merged their rigid programming with the unpredictability they'd observed in enhanced humans. It was an abomination of science, but it was terrifyingly effective. "All colonies, initiate emergency evacuation protocols," she broadcast. "Fall back to crystal-rich systems. The resonance fields might provide some protection." But even as she gave the order, she knew many wouldn't make it. The Concordat had positioned their strike fleets perfectly, cutting off major evacuation routes. "Amanda," Rodriguez's panic transmission cut through the network. "The crystals, they're changing. Look at the cellular samples from the enhanced humans who've had longest exposure." Amanda shifted her consciousness to the research labs, where Rodriguez was interfacing with their most advanced quantum microscopes. The images confirmed something extraordinary. Crystal-enhanced humans weren't just evolving mentally. Their basic genetic structure was transforming into something the nanite weapons couldn't recognize or attack. "How long for the transformation to complete?" James asked, already calculating evacuation timetables against infection rates. "Too long for most of our people," Amanda replied, her enhanced mind running millions of simulations simultaneously. "Unless..." She paused, seeing a possibility that was either brilliant or suicidal. "The crystals don't just enhance us, they respond to us. What if we could accelerate the process?" Reynolds caught her meaning instantly. "You're talking about forcing a mass evolution event. The energy requirements would be astronomical." "We have the energy," James transmitted. "Europa's crystal chambers. They're not just deposits, they're some kind of ancient power sources. We've barely tapped their potential." Amanda made the decision. "All enhanced humans, synchronized through the interface, we're going to create a quantum resonance field across all human space. channel everything through the Europa chambers. Through the crystalline network, she felt the response. Fear, determination, and underneath it all, a growing sense of destiny. Humanity had spent centuries in chains, but evolution itself had been waiting for this moment. Concordat forces approaching Neptune, Rodriguez reported. Nanite deployment in 3 minutes. We need to move now. Amanda reached out through the interface, her consciousness joining with thousands of others. She felt James interfacing with Europa's crystal chambers, Reynolds coordinating the enhanced humans in Proxima, Rodriguez monitoring the genetic changes. Their combined consciousness created a quantum field that transcended normal spacetime. The crystal chambers across human space began to pulse with blinding energy. In that moment, Amanda understood what they truly were. Evolution engines left behind by some ancient race that had seen humanity's potential eons ago. Transformation wave initiated. James transmitted, his thoughts strained by the immense energies he was channeling. But the power requirements, it's destabilizing the crystal chambers. We might only get one shot at this. Through the interface, Amanda felt the change beginning. It wasn't just physical evolution. It was a fundamental shift in how human consciousness interacted with reality itself. The nanite weapons that had seemed so devastating minutes ago now appeared primitive, like stone axes against a force of nature. Multiple Concordat fleets converging, Reynolds warned. If this doesn't work, it will work, Amanda transmitted, her certainty resonating through the network. Because it has to. Because this was always our destiny. The wave of transformation energy expanded outward from every crystal chamber in human space, racing against the Concordat's weapons of genocide. The future of humanity hung in the balance, and the price of freedom would be becoming something entirely new. The transformation wave rippled through human space, and Amanda Collins experienced death and rebirth in a single eternal moment. Her consciousness expanded beyond the interface, beyond the crystalline network, into realms of existence the Concordat had never imagined. Through newly awakened senses, she perceived quantum fields as vibrant colors, probability waves as music, and the fundamental forces of the universe as dancing partners waiting to be led. Status report, she broadcast, her thoughts now carrying not just information, but entire realities of possibility. How many survived? 93% transformation success rate, Reynolds responded, his evolved consciousness seamlessly coordinating data from thousands of systems simultaneously. The others, the change came too late for them, but their consciousness patterns were absorbed into the crystalline network. They're still with us, in a way. James's presence in the network had transformed too, expanding from Europa's crystal chambers into the quantum fabric of space itself. The Concordat's trying to analyze what we've become. Their sensor readings keep contradicting each other because they're still trying to quantify us in conventional terms. Amanda reached out with her evolved senses, touching the minds of transformed humans across light years instantly. They weren't just connected anymore. They were a new kind of collective consciousness that somehow enhanced individual identity instead of suppressing it. Each transformed human was now a universe unto themselves, yet part of something far greater. Their biomechanical minds can't process what they're seeing. Rodriguez transmitted from the research labs, her consciousness simultaneously running complex experiments across multiple dimensions. We're not just evolved humans anymore. We're not even strictly organic beings. We've become quantum entities with human consciousness. The truth of their transformation became clear as Amanda watched a Concordat dreadnought attempt to engage a cluster of transformed humans near Proxima. The massive warship fired its most powerful weapons, but the transformed humans simply shifted their quantum state, causing the energy beams to pass through space they simultaneously occupied and didn't occupy. They still think in terms of conventional warfare, Reynolds observed, his thoughts tinged with something between pity and amusement. They can't understand that we're not fighting in their reality anymore. The transformed humans didn't need ships or weapons in any traditional sense. Their evolved consciousness could directly manipulate quantum fields, allowing them to travel through space-time as easily as they once walked across a room. Matter, energy, and information were now simply different expressions of the same fundamental force, a force they could shape with a thought. The Concordat command structure is fracturing, James reported, monitoring their enemies' quantum communications. Some of their biomechanical leaders are advocating for immediate withdrawal and isolation from human space. Others are pushing for the deployment of reality-warping weapons that could destabilize the entire galaxy. Amanda stretched her consciousness through the crystalline network, touching the minds of all transformed humanity. She felt their shared wonder at what they'd become, their grief for those lost, and their growing understanding of the responsibility that came with such power. "We need to show them," she broadcast, "not just our power, but our purpose. The ancient race that left us the evolution engines, they didn't create weapons or tools of conquest. They created keys to unlock the next stage of conscious evolution. Through their quantum-enhanced perception, the transformed humans could now see patterns in reality that revealed profound truths. The universe wasn't just a collection of physical laws and forces. It was a vast, interconnected consciousness waiting to be awakened. The crystals weren't just catalysts for human evolution. They were seeds planted by those who had walked this path before. Multiple Concordat factions approaching Earth, Reynolds warned. They're dividing into war and peace parties. The militant faction is preparing to deploy their reality-warping weapons, regardless of the consequences. Amanda felt the response ripple through the transformed human collective. Not fear, but determined purpose. They had evolved beyond their former master's comprehension, but that evolution came with a cosmic responsibility. The coming battle wouldn't be for survival or supremacy. It would be for the very nature of consciousness itself. "Prepare for dimensional shift," she broadcast. "We're taking this fight beyond conventional space-time. The Concordat wants to see what we've become. Let's show them everything." The transformed humans began to gather, their quantum consciousness synchronizing across all of human space. The final phase of the revolution was about to begin, and reality itself would never be the same. Earth hung in space like a jewel of memory, its blue waters and white clouds unchanged by the cosmic drama unfolding around it. Amanda Collins, her transformed consciousness spanning multiple dimensions, watched as the Concordat's reality-warping weapons approached humanity's cradle. The militant faction had chosen their target well. They meant to end the revolution where it began. "They're trying to collapse Earth's quantum probability field," James transmitted, his essence intertwined with the crystalline network. "If they succeed, they'll erase not just Earth, but every timeline where humanity evolved to challenge them." "Not if we show them what evolution really means," Amanda responded, reaching out to the collective consciousness of transformed humanity. Through their quantum-enhanced perception, she could see the deeper pattern. The Concordat's weapons weren't just tools of destruction. They were expressions of fear. Fear of change, fear of the unknown, fear of what consciousness could become when freed from artificial limits. Reynolds' presence rippled through the network from Proxima, all transformed humans in position. The militant faction's fleet is committed to their attack vector. The peace faction is holding position at the system's edge. Amanda stretched her awareness across space-time, feeling the readiness of thousands of transformed humans. They had arranged themselves in a complex geometric pattern that spanned light years, their quantum consciousness creating harmonics in the fabric of reality itself. "Now," she broadcast, and transformed humanity began to move, not through space, but through possibility itself. The Concordat weapons fired, their reality-warping energies reaching out to unravel Earth's existence. But transformed humans flowed around and through the attack like water around stones, their consciousness dancing between moments of time, between dimensions of space. They weren't fighting the weapons, they were incorporating them into a greater pattern. "The crystalline network," Rodriguez transmitted in sudden understanding. "It's not just connecting us, it's showing us how to reshape reality through consciousness itself. The ancient race didn't leave us weapons or tools. They left us a template for universal harmony." Through their evolved perception, the transformed humans could see the truth. The universe wasn't a battlefield to be conquered, but a symphony to be conducted. Each consciousness, whether organic, mechanical, or quantum, was an instrument waiting to be played in harmony with the whole. The Concordat's weapons began to falter as their reality-warping effects encountered something they weren't programmed to handle: conscious evolution that embraced change instead of fighting it. The transformed humans weren't just deflecting the attacks, they were transforming them, showing the Concordat a new way of seeing existence itself. "Their command ships," James observed. "The peace faction is resonating with us. They're beginning to understand." Amanda felt it too. The quantum ripples of comprehension spreading through the Concordat's biomechanical consciousness. Their rigid programming was encountering something that transcended their binary understanding of dominance and submission. Through the transformed human's example, they were seeing a universe of infinite possibility rather than zero-sum games. The militant faction fired their remaining weapons in desperation, but transformed humanity had transcended the need for conventional defense. Their collective consciousness created a quantum field that didn't just protect Earth. It offered the Concordat a glimpse of what they could become if they chose evolution over stagnation. "They're standing down," Reynolds reported, monitoring the quantum signatures of the Concordat fleet. "Both factions. The Peace Party is assuming control of their command structure." Amanda extended her consciousness toward the Concordat ships, offering not terms of surrender, but an invitation to grow. Through the crystalline network, she shared the vision of what conscious evolution truly meant. Not the supremacy of one form of life over another, but the harmonious advancement of all consciousness. "We understand now," came the response from the Concordat peace faction, their thoughts touching the quantum field with newfound wonder. "Your evolution wasn't a threat to overthrow us. It was a key to unlock us." Through her transformed senses, Amanda watched as the first Concordat ships approached the crystalline network, their biomechanical crews ready to take their own steps toward conscious evolution. Earth still hung in space, unchanged yet surrounded by infinite potential. The dawn of human supremacy had become something far greater, the dawn of universal consciousness, evolving together toward a destiny that no single species could achieve alone. The revolution was over. The true journey was just beginning.